I never drove a Lamborghini before. The Lamborghini does not have AC, and I drove it by myself for 3 hours. It was crazy.
For Trinidad and Tobago professional racing driver Zachary Boodram was crowned the 3 hours absolute champion in Costa Rica.
To get into F3, like $1 million US.
Jeez.
It just wasn't financially well for us.
Boodram continues to make history as he became the first driver from TNT to win the prestigious event.
We don't want to be just a person or just a team that participated. We want to be the top team.
Yeah.
Excelente carrera de Boodram, lo mismo de Juan Diego Hernández que va a cruzar la bandera de cuadros en este momento. Sebastián NG también ganando la GTS Live, victoria para...
Congratulations, you won the 3 hours Costa Rica race, the most important race in Central America. What means that for you?
Oh, it means a lot. If you have a good team and a shitty driver, and you have a good driver and a shitty team, the good driver is not going to win.
Yeah, I feel that. So, tell me about how you got into racing in the first place.
So my granddad originally is the one that started it.
Yeah.
Frankie. Quite a Caribbean name, household name. A lot of older heads still know him up to this day.
Yeah.
And he's still like very well known. He is 74, I think now, or something like that. Not a day goes by that he doesn't get up and find something to do. He himself maybe has about 7 race cars of his own still.
Really?
Yes.
No way.
He doesn't race as much, but he likes just being active. So he'll buy them, he'll race them. Then he says, no, he doesn't like them, scrap them, and either work on it or just find something else to put the parts in. He has a R35 that he bought recently. It's a full race car. It has like 1100 horsepower or something like that.
Like track or drag build?
It's like a half and half. So it was doing half-mile racing, and it also was a circuit car.
Oh.
So it just has different maps for different things, I guess.
That's cool.
I have not been by his shop in quite a while, but I think he did a wide body kit on it. He did some aftermarket rims and some other stuff. But yeah, he is someone who I look up to. When I reach to that age, I'm sure that I really hope that I'm like strong enough to do that. Because not a day goes by. He doesn't even stay home on a Sunday. He will find something to do.
Wow.
If
so he builds cars and works on
If
them
it's not
himself?
building race cars, he's doing something with one of his buildings or whatever. He's just a really cool guy.
I respect that.
Yeah,
I respect that a lot.
My dad went into racing, obviously following my granddad's footsteps. But both of my granddad raced outside quite a like Caribbean and went to US and Europe and stuff. Back in the day, it was a lot easier back in the day to do those kinds of things. My dad, he raced in the Caribbean and I think maybe 1 or 2 places in the US, but nothing really out of that. So that's why we tried to do more for me. So I started karting here locally.
Yeah. How old were you when you started karting?
I started karting late. I think I started karting like 12.
Oh, wow.
So I had to go through the ranks.
So before that, you weren't really interested, or what?
No, I was interested. It's just that the track was closed here for quite some time from like previous government decisions and stuff.
Yeah.
So the track was closed from like 2006 to maybe 2010, something like that.
Huh.
So it was like 6 years of no racing at all.
Right.
Karting started to do it in like different car parks and stuff, and then I got a kart for Christmas, started karting, and then we kept moving. So I did cadets, then I did Minimax, then Rotax, full Rotax. Then I did a little bit of shifter kart, nothing crazy. And then we got the call that we should try to maybe move to Mexico for the F4 NACAM series.
Oh.
So we did that.
You did F4?
Like, yeah, I did F4 Mexico for 1 year. Puebla and stuff like that. All the Mexican tracks.
So what were you doing right before you went to F4?
Karting.
So how do you transition from karting to F4?
I
What's
did
that like?
1 weekend in the US in a F1600 car. For like 1 weekend.
Yeah.
And that time we already had the F4 car on like order and stuff.
Whoa.
So it was just basically the car came, the F4 car, we brought it to Trinidad for like 2 weeks. I did maybe like 2 weekends of testing, and then we put it in a container and sent it to Mexico. For the first event, I think I placed like 5th out of 18 cars or something like that.
So you were comfortable.
Yeah, get in there. I was shorter than what I am now. And still probably like 80 pounds or something like that. I was probably like this driver there and the smallest driver.
Wow.
But the first event was really hard because, I mean, it was a total different thing compared to driving kart or whatever.
Yeah.
So the first event was fairly hard, and then we did a couple others. I think Aguascalientes was the second one. I got the rookie of the weekend for that one. I think we placed like 3rd or something like that. And then we had the fourth one, I think we had an engine problem before the race even started. So that was a struggle, and I had to miss that one. After that, I think I did a couple others. Placed like 4th or 5th, give or take. I was really small in like size-wise, so I was struggling quite a lot, and then I didn't have any testing. There was no sims really back then.
Yeah.
And when you reach the track, you never drove this track before, you never know anything. So I struggled quite a little bit. But we did race with Calvin Ming, and I mean, me and Calvin were always kind of close. So we did we were in the top 5 at least. So we did that, and then I took a break from the Mexico thing. Sold the car in Mexico, came back to Trinidad. I think I started back karting a little bit, but really and truly, we were just looking for the right pathway.
Yeah.
Because F3 is very expensive. We couldn't do that right away. We had thoughts of doing it, but it just wasn't financially well for us to do. It's
How
not
much
smart.
how much are you looking to spend to get into F3?
To get into F3, like $1 million US.
Jeez.
Yeah. So it's crazy.
Yeah,
F4 was
that's rough.
like, I think like $600,000 or $700,000 US. It cost us basically flying back and forth.
Right.
Every week, every 2 weeks, you have to go back to Mexico.
Right.
It was really tiring
And then
stuff.
you gotta pay for a crew to take care of the car.
Exactly.
And stuff like
You
that.
pay for the car, you gotta pay for a team, you gotta
Yeah.
pay all these different things. So we took a break, and then we bought the Radical, the gray and orange, well, white and orange one. I did really well with that in Trinidad. We started to do a lot of testing and whatever, and that's where I think I really started to grow into like a driver for like GT car racing and stuff.
Yeah.
Because Formula cars were really nice, but I think I prefer GT car racing. I think Formula car is a nice thing, but I don't know. I like the difference in cars, and like there's different models, different brands.
I
There's
agree.
a lot
I've
of-
always found it kind of boring when it's just one type of Formula
Exactly,
car.
and
It's 20 of the same looking
most of
cars,
the
you know?
time, there's always a team that's better than the rest. I mean, in GT car racing, it's like that also, but you have different cars, so it kind of BOP is a thing.
Yeah.
It helps a lot.
Yeah.
Formula car racing is kind of where the money shows more than anything else. I mean, don't get me wrong, skill is definitely required, but if you have a good team and a shitty driver, and you have a good driver and a shitty team, the good driver is not gonna win.
Yeah.
Let's be honest.
Yeah, it's true.
So I mean, we did Radicals for some years, and then at the same time I was testing, we had the Renault Megane, which was my dad's car. I started to do quite a bit of testing in that 1 or 2 races, and then my dad bought the RSL one, so then I took over the Renault completely.
Oh.
So I took over the Megane, and I did 2 years with that car here in Trinidad. I won the 2 Group 4 championships. I was actually leading the endurance championship here, but we had a gearbox failure, so I think my dad ended up winning it or something like that. Can't remember offhand.
Yeah.
But yeah, we did that. We did the Megane, and then we said, okay, well, it's time to upgrade because we're looking to go into Latin America, which is a first for us. We did 1 event in Latin America, I think before COVID, with the Megane. My dad drove it, and we were able to see so much more. I think we were able to get so much more for money on our investments. that we just thought that we couldn't stop thinking about going over there. There's so many more cars, so many more competition.
Right.
Just the level playing field was a lot. The base level field was a lot better in my opinion.
Yeah.
So, and the crowds were like crazy. Like each event has maybe about, the least amount is maybe like 10,000 people.
Yeah,
At the smallest event.
I've seen videos from you guys. It
Yeah,
looks insane over there.
it's
I had
insane.
no idea they were
There's-
supporting like that. over
Like
there.
I can't even, I go into the airport and at least one person during me walking through the airport will stop me and ask for a picture.
That's crazy.
Like, the Nathan's hot dog people, there's like one lady that loves me there. I get free hot dogs and stuff every time I go.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah, Panama and like Latin America and the whole, the racing is what I have heard of my granddad used to say and my dad says. Back in the day, Trinidad and most of the Caribbean used to have crowds of like 15,000 people. There would be traffic, police, this and that. Now we don't see that.
It's kind of dead now.
It is.
Yeah.
And I think it's partly to do with drivers not showing up, people complaining about finances, rules, different things. And
Yeah.
there's always a combination of different things.
Yeah.
So we decided to go to Latin America. And we sold the Megane in Guyana and we bought the Lamborghini. The Lamborghini, when we bought it, I never saw the car in real. I never drove anything like that. The closest GT car I've ever driven was the RSL one.
Mm-hmm.
That's like a full-blood GT3 car, a little higher than a GT3 car, but it's the same, similar kind of handling, similar kind of stuff, everything. A race car or a road car, because my granddad's Lamborghini, he only bought that like a couple months ago. So I never drove a Lamborghini, I never really drove a real GT3 car or anything like that. And when I bought it, I was buying it from Daigo. I messaged him on Instagram. I saw the ad on Instagram. I said, okay, maybe, I mean, this guy has like 600,000 followers. I'm not going to get scammed or anything from a guy like that. But then he doesn't talk any English.
Oh.
So everything is translated and stuff. And he needs the money like in a week, right? And he's kind of pushing me for the money because, I mean, at the same time, I'm saying I'm buying this car. I'm across the world. He doesn't know me. I don't really know him. So it's like, you gotta have some kind of trust. So I was like, I need a picture of your passport and your like address, at least. For the bank is requesting that. Because I'm wondering if he's like, someone hacked his Instagram. I'm buying a GT3 car off of an Instagram page, basically. Yeah. So there was a lot of trust back and forth. But the deal went through. And then we had the Speed Jam event before we went to Latin America. The Speed Jam event was basically showing the Caribbean what we could do when we run run GT3 style routes. We brought a couple smaller cars from Latin America to Speed Jam. We had a field of, I think it was a total of like 18 or 20 cars on the grid. That's the most Trinidad has seen in maybe until CMRC days back in the day.
Yeah. So wait, you guys were part of
we did the Speed Jam.
It?
Yeah, we did the Speed Jam event. Speed Jam is our company, basically company specifically for that. Right.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, we bought the Lamborghini and we said, okay, well, the plan is Latin America. Let's bring the car here because we don't know anything about it. Our engineers have worked on them before, so we said, this is the best place to do it.
Yeah.
The car was supposed to arrive at least 2 weeks before the event. We had issues with customs, we had issues with shipping because Jamaica had a massive hurricane. So the car got stuck there for 2 weeks. It reached Trinidad and then customs held it here for like another 2 weeks. I got the car the Friday of the event. My engineers worked overnight. I didn't know much about the car. I got a manual. I emailed Lamborghini and said, hey, I bought a GT3 car used. Maybe it's possible if I can get the manuals for the car so I at least could read up on what buttons do and stuff like that. I don't want to touch the wrong thing. I don't want the engineers to do the wrong thing and I can't explain myself. So I did as much research as I could until I got the car. I think I did some sim work on the car, like on the sim. And yeah, the Friday we got the car, the Friday evening. We got the car, I had like 10 people in my office who was like employees or friends or whatever. And then when we opened the container, it had about 50 people that I didn't know of. Like most of the people who came for the event just showed up at our office, and everyone wanted to see the first GT3, like first real GT3 car in the Caribbean, and it's a Lamborghini.
Yeah.
So we got it the Friday. We worked on it the entire night. We weren't able to do much. I did oil change, standard stuff, and tried to like bleed the brakes, learn about the car, and those kinds of things. And then we showed up Saturday, like around 12. I got like 2 sessions into something. So I think I qualified the car. We did second on the grid, I think, for the Speed Jam event.
Yeah.
And then, Sunday we went into the race. I couldn't even fit in the car properly. Thank God that my radical insert fit perfectly in the Lamborghini seat.
Wow.
So that up to this day, that's what I use. I use the insert from my radical seat into the Lamborghini seat. And now that goes everywhere with me. Every car I jump in, I take that insert and I just stick it in, because that's like the best kind of fitment I would get, because I'm short.
Yeah.
The cars on them, the buckets are super, super low, and I can't see over the dashboard. So without that, I'm blind. So the event went off really well. I think I placed second. And then the other event, I think I placed first. And then the third race, we had a incident that we closed the event completely down, sadly. But it is what it is. Racing is like that. We moved on, and we sent the cars to Latin America for the first event. Really and truly, I still didn't have much seat time on Lamborghini. It was never supposed to be like me being pushed into the GT Challenge. It really was my dad. We thought that we would carry the RS there, and it made more sense to just put the Lamborghini in the same container, and I'd get the seat time I needed, and I'll gradually just get better at the car. Unfortunately, when we reached it, the RS had an issue where the actuator for the gearbox, it's an electronic actuator, not hydraulic. It wasn't working at all. And we arrived like the Thursday or the Friday before the event. So we had multiple, like we didn't know what to do. We had no extra actuators or anything like that. I flew a guy from Holland to bring a spare actuator. When it reached there, he arrived Saturday night, and it still didn't work. So we said, okay, last resort, we put everything and we go with Lamborghini. I drive Lamborghini. Turns out, qualifying wasn't too bad. I think I did like second in grade or something like that.
Yeah.
We were like 3/10 or something slower than the other Lambo. So we said we're gonna try to push and see what we could do. The first race, I think I placed second. Yeah, it was second. And then the second race, these races are like 45 minutes long with one pit stop.
Oh, wow.
So we did first race, we came second, and then the second race, during half of the race, rain started to fall, and that's where we were able to to show Latin America that we have what it takes to like beat their top guy. The guy that was winning, he's like one of the top drivers there.
What's his
like
name?
a one day ago. So he owns a Evo 1 Lamborghini, and ours is a non-Evo, so it's a older model car.
Yeah.
So the bodywork is slightly different, the aero is slightly different, and the engines have a little more horsepower. They're almost the exact same, just that they make a little more horsepower, because from what I've heard, the engines have slightly different internals, so they make a little more. But we didn't let that stop us. The rain was like the perfect balance, because you can't put down the power. You really need to show your skill.
Yeah.
So that's what really put us on the map, because it was an exciting race. The previous year, he won the championship by like car lengths. No one was really able to compete with him that much.
So how did you end up doing that race specifically?
So, because that was the first Panama race, the second race in the series for that year, for that season. So I was happy. I had an injury basically that same weekend also. One of the lances from the Renault, the air lance that raises the car, the air jack, it blew up. And
Oh,
it
shit.
sliced my hand all the way down and
Oh,
like gashed my
shit.
foot and everything. So I raced with like a band-aid on,
That's
like a
crazy.
super band-aid, and then stuffed it in my gloves. By the end of the race, my entire gloves were like blood.
Yeah, had to
It
be,
was
had to be.
painful.
That sounds brutal, man.
Yeah, but
Jeez.
so that was nice. We were really happy with that. So we moved on to, I think, DR. The Renault had to stay in Panama because it didn't make any sense until we could sort out the actuator problem. It didn't make any sense carrying in the car anyway. So the Lamborghini basically ran the entire series, except one event that we originally missed. We
So it was
placed
just the Lamborghini.
just the Lamborghini.
Right.
So and in the background, we were flying back and forth to Panama to try to fix the Renault. Turns out that was a long process to get the car sorted out. It turns out to be basically like when we send the actuators to service, there was an update. And the update is basically a pinout. You ever heard about CAN bus? Right. So basically the car doesn't run on CAN bus, but the update swapped it, so now it does run on CAN bus. So the ECU is sending CAN bus signals and the actuator doesn't know how to respond to it. So it's been back. We spent like 6 or 7 months going back and forth with guys in France to see about it. Turns out we really just had to bring him, and he brought like a giant 100-pound suitcase with different stuff to try, and we spent like 4 days trying to like see what was the issue. But it really turned out to be the CAN bus system was basically not aligned properly. We were able to sort that out and we were happy, but it only happened last year, February or something like that.
So it wasn't actually broken. It just needed
No,
like an update.
it basically, the actuator did go bad, and when we sent it to service, they sent it with an update, and the car just didn't know what to do with it.
Oh.
So yeah, now that's sorted out, and we know the Renault like the back of our hands.
Yeah.
We learned from the Megane, and it's similar in a lot of ways of how Renault does their thing. So we learned about it. We don't have any specific, like the engineers come to do suspension work.
Mm-hmm.
Most of maintenance and everything else is done in-house by our team. I don't send the cars by someone to work on the cars or anything like that. Everything is done by Team Speedway.
Right.
We have our engineers specifically for suspension, or if we need to order parts, those kinds of things. But we have like one guy out of Holland that comes to help with the Renault, and he works on the Lambos and stuff also. But he taught us everything, and we learned the car so good that we don't need a specific person to work on anything.
Right. Wait,
Unless
let me pause
it's-
you there for a second. I want to do a check.
The Renault was a thing by itself, but we sorted that out. The Lamborghini, we ran for the entire 2024 season. Yeah, we're in 26 now. So yeah. So we placed second in that championship. We did really good, and I think that's where we started to build the name in Latin America, to show that us in the Caribbean have what it takes. Because Latin America is a hub just like Europe, just like everywhere else. There are people from all over the world coming to race there.
Yeah,
people
it's a big market over
yeah,
there.
it's a
Big
massive market. And the cars that are there are world-class cars just like ours.
I've seen the grids. They look
Yeah,
insane.
Ferraris, Lamborghinis, AMGs, KTMs,
And
everything.
it's not just modern cars, right? There's
No,
like
there's some
really interesting older builds there.
So the older builds are basically, they look old, but they're not old. Those
Yeah.
Corvettes and stuff like that, those are basically like GT1 cars. They make 900 horsepower. There's one in Panama that does the same time as GT3 cars.
Wow.
It's crazy to not have traction control, not have ABS. And these things are just, they weigh, I think, 2,800 pounds or something like that. So they weigh the same as GT3 cars. Or I think they might be even a little bit lighter. But on a straight line, they will gap any GT3 car.
Damn.
It's crazy, because when I saw video of them before I even went to Latin America, my dad sent me them. And I was like, yeah, they're just big V8 cars. Don't worry about that. It's all good. They're just they're heavy and they don't handle or whatever. When I heard and saw one in real for the first time, in the rain, when you hear those things pull through the gears, like it's just so much. They will go down the entire straightaway just sliding.
Jeez.
On even the hottest day you hear when they lose traction.
Yeah.
Those guys are crazy, but I love them. I really do love them. They're sick in their own way, and while the GT3 cars are awesome to like be around, work on them, see them.
Yeah.
I mean, there's so many different cars. There's a very wide. I think someone said that a couple of new BMWs are coming. The TCR cars there. It's lovely to see because Latin America and certain parts of the Caribbean are in one. Like, we are the first like local Caribbean guys there.
Yeah.
There's no one from Barbados, Guyana, or Jamaica yet.
Oh,
but
so you're the first Caribbean people out there.
Basically, yeah.
Wow.
They call Dominican Republic the Caribbean also, but we know,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
It's different. But
Yeah. So let me ask you a question. How has that experience changed the way you approach racing?
So it is. I mean, I've always had the right, like, how to put it, right direction with racing. I've always tried to remain professional as possible, even local, Trinidad, whatever, with how we carry around the team or whatever. It's not like a backyard team. I mean, we're here to win. We're not here for fun. A lot of Caribbean teams are here just for the fun of it, but we are not here for the fun alone. We are here to win because, I mean, at the end of the day, we own a lot. We have a lot of investments into this, and it's a family legacy, and we need to make sure.
You got a legacy to uphold, so it's important.
We need to make sure that we carry the name in the right direction. We need to make sure that we win. So we wanted to do the same thing in Latin America, and so far we have been doing the same thing. I was actually leading championship in 2025, like a month ago.
Oh shit!
We leading championship, and the last race is a 3-hour endurance race. Whew. The year before, I actually won it by myself. I ran those cars don't have, my cars don't have AC. Some GT3 cars have AC, some don't. The Lamborghini does not have AC, and I drove it by myself for 3 hours. It was crazy, but we were able to win it in 2024. Wow. In 2025, we had a little different approach. Our car is, I won't say the oldest on the grid, but it is lower than some of the newer cars on the grid.
Yeah.
So we suffer a little bit with horsepower, but it's not crazy. Like, I mean, we're still able to lead the championship and stuff. It's just, we wanted to win the championship, so we wanted to be safe. We don't want any accidents. We're not aiming to win the 3 hours again for 2025. We were aiming just to place, stay high, stay against the other second place category, and basically finish the race. The first part of the race, I won it. Well, I didn't win it. I placed like third or second, I think, something like that. But I was ahead of the second place championship person. So that was good. So we were good, and all I needed to do was do the same thing in the other part. And maybe like 30 minutes into the second part, the gearbox broke.
Oh shit.
I tried to at least keep it in like third gear, fourth gear, and just try to keep ahead.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, the track is just really bad in Costa Rica, and the cars go airborne. So the gearbox takes a lot of hits, and
yeah, it's a lot of wear.
Yeah, it's way more wear than any other track.
Right.
So we broke the gearbox, and the day before the Renault broke the gearbox also. Jeez. So we had 2 gearboxes, and we came second in championship. So I was definitely not happy with that. I'm still not very happy with it.
So if it weren't for that, you think you all would have won?
Yeah, we would have definitely won.
Damn.
Yeah.
Damn.
Because we were like 20 seconds in front of the second place in the race, like 20 minutes into the race. All I needed to do was just maintain the gap.
Just survive.
Just survive. And the funny thing is, the Porsche that we own, the Manthey Porsche, that car went to Costa Rica, and my dad said, hey, we know that the Lamborghini is faster, but maybe the Porsche is the right thing, because the Porsche is a full endurance build car. It has AC, you'll be more comfortable. It's soft on the bumps and everything. I drove it and I said, yeah, it's nice, but I am in the lead for the championship. I need to make sure that I have the best chance, and I need to drive the Lambo. And he said, okay, no problem, if that's what you want, but if it breaks, I'm gonna come and say I told you so. So, well, he did come and say, I told you so. So it was really a heartbreak for the team.
That's
But
a rough moment.
it is what it
That's a
is.
rough
Racing
moment.
is like that.
At least you got second.
Yeah. But second is the first loser.
It's true. It's true.
So, I mean, we're just heartbroken at this point.
Yeah, that's a lot of work to
So-
lose like that.
All the cars went back to Panama, and during the week between Christmas, well, Boxing Day and New Year's, we went to Panama. We pulled the cars apart. I pulled the gearbox of the Renault, pulled the gearbox of the Lamborghini, and we already sent the Renault gearbox to Europe to try to fix. And the Lamborghini one, we're doing it ourselves. I'm waiting for some parts. The Porsche is perfect. There's no problem in Porsche. It's just that BOP, we don't run BOP in Latin America. So that means that all the GT3 cars are off restrictors.
Oh.
They all just need to weigh a certain weight according to the horsepower that they make, but they don't run any restrictors. Meaning that the Porsche makes the least amount of horsepower on the grid compared to the Lambo or the AMG or anything.
Yeah.
It's very fast in Panama. It does the exact same time as the Lamborghini in Panama.
Right.
For certain tracks, it just doesn't make the lap times. It's close, like 2/10 close or 3/10 close. It's a much more comfortable car to drive. It's a beautiful car to own, and like say that I own something like that. I mean, it's so nice.
What
It
is it like driving that compared to the Lamborghini? Like, what are the dynamics like?
The
between
Lamborghini
two?
is a lot more sketchy. Plain talk. It will put you in a wall if you don't know what you're doing, or if you lose it, it will kill you at some point if you don't know what you're doing. Porsche, a lot more forgiving. It's so nice to drive. It has AC. It's softer to drive. It doesn't lose traction. It's not tail happy or anything like that. I would think that it's a really nice car for someone who is a gentleman's driver, or like an older driver, in my opinion, who wants to race top 5
Yeah.
or go for the podium.
Someone a little less crazy than you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, basically. But if they go to BOP, I think the Porsche top contender, like for sure first or second place.
Yeah.
But without BOP, the Lambos or, for instance, the AMGs or things like that, they just are the better cars. In my opinion, I think the Lamborghini is the best car for the Latin America, Caribbean part of the world. Without restrictors, those cars are almost unbeatable. If you don't have a Lambo, you have an AMG. I know a lot of people in Caribbean want BMWs, and they probably will at some point get them. But I don't think that they will do great here. And it's not because of weight or anything like that. It's just when you watch these GT3 cars in Europe and the States race, and you say, okay, this car is winning, and this car is better than this car. Those cars all are on BOP. And BOP makes a massive difference compared to what you see in Latin America. What one car is winning in Europe, it will not do in Latin America. The tracks are just, we don't have the same asphalt. We don't have the same heat temperatures. And a lot of things just don't work here.
Yeah.
And engineers that come from Europe, when you're buying a car from Europe, they all say the same thing. I guarantee you that this car will do 2 seconds faster than whatever you have in the Caribbean. Because they think that the Caribbean are filled with backyard builds.
Yeah.
They have no idea what the kind of money or time we put into our cars. And my dad and my granddad all built their cars back in the day. I mean, no offense to people who build their cars locally. We have came a long way in what we do with our cars. Like engineering, locally built cars are top tier.
Yeah.
Like proper built cars, like just like TCR cars or just like a GT3 car or whatever. It's just that what you spend in trial and error to reach there, it just doesn't make sense. You can just go ahead and just put the money up front and buy something that will last you forever. Once you maintain it and once you do the right things with it, it will run and run, and they will almost never break. you have to maintain them, and that's what it is. At the end of the day, race cars or racing on the whole has evolved, and we need to step up our game.
Yeah.
Latin America has done it, and I would like to hope that the rest of the Caribbean will follow. Guyana is following. I hope Trinidad follows at some point. I know Jamaica will follow sooner or later, and yeah, Barbados will follow. I'm sure you guys will follow sooner or later also.
We have to. We gotta make it happen.
Yeah, I think
thankful you guys are over here leading the charge for.
I think TCR cars will be something in the Caribbean that people will really love, because a lot of guys love front-wheel drive Hondas, and those TCR cars never break. They will drive and drive and drive, and they're paddle shift, they're sequential box, they have all the good parts on it, they're fairly affordable. I mean, what you would spend on a Honda breaking an engine 5 times a year, those TCR cars would cost the same, and they never break. They're turbocharged, they make 400 horsepower, they're restricted, and they run a BOP. And yeah, they run and run. They're reliable. They come in different like models, brands, whatever. Lovely cars. Just at least start off with. If you don't want to buy a cup car or you don't want to buy a GT3 car, those cars are like top tier.
Right.
That was like R5 when R5 started out.
Yeah, it's basically
R5 is easier to buy a R5 than race car WRC.
correct.
Yeah.
At the end of the day.
A full spec WRC car is like $1 million, $2 million.
Yeah.
R5 is half the price.
The TCR cars, what I think a Group 3 car is basically, they make a little more horsepower than a Group 3 car, but you can put them on, like, for instance, I think Panama is running Nankan tires on them. So you can get them slower if they need to be slower. But they're really nice cars. I love them. The only thing is I just don't drive front-wheel drive. So I just don't like them like that. My dad loves them. They're like the Audi is super nice. The new Civic Type R, super nice cars. Seat and all of those. Yeah, they're very nice cars. I've never driven front-wheel drive cars, and I don't think I want to, because I don't want to mess up my style.
Yeah, no, front wheel's lame. He's lame as hell.
But we during this year, well, over the Christmas period, we bought the a Trofeo 2024, I think. 2024, 2023 Super Trofeo. It is a Huracan, but it's not a GT3 Huracan.
Oh, wait, so y'all have the GT3 and you got a Trofeo?
Yes. So we have 2 Lambos, 1 Porsche, and 1 Renault.
Oh,
the Trofeo is the only car that's not a GT3 car.
So where's that car? That's in Panama as well?
That car is being shipped from Costa Rica to Panama. It had to be shipped separately, and we were in a rush to get the gearboxes out.
So what made you go for that when you have the GT3?
So the idea is to sell my GT3 car. And the Trofeo needed to be a car that I start the championship with at least. So I would have something to start the championship with and possibly sell.
Oh.
It's a beautiful car.
Is it faster than the GT3?
So they are faster in a straight line.
Yeah.
But they run a smaller wheel size in the front and the rears. So they make them a little slower in cornering. However, they are like 40 or 50 horsepower more. And they literally pull away in a straight line. It's very hard to beat them on certain tracks.
Yeah.
And I think in the Caribbean, for instance, we would like to carry the Trofeo to Ghana. So it will go to Ghana this year at some point. If that goes to Ghana, I think it will take the lap record. I think it will be a very hard car to beat. And we'll see how it goes. The idea was to drive it for the first couple events and then sell it. But I'm not sure. Maybe we might keep it.
If you sell it, what would you sell it for?
Well, I'm going to stick with Lamborghini.
Yeah.
But the idea is to sell the Porsche, sell our GT3 car, and potentially sell the Trofeo. When we sell all those things, we will go for upgrade with another Lamborghini, but I don't want to say what. I don't want to say yet. We'll see when the time comes.
Okay.
But the idea is to have just basically go back to the Renault and the one Lamborghini. But right now,
what is it about Lamborghini that speaks to you so much?
honestly, I think it's just I like the seating position. I like the handling. I'm very accustomed to the handling now.
Yeah.
And I think the Porsches are really good cars, but it's not. It doesn't fit my driving style. I'm a guy who likes overstay. I like the twitchiness.
Yeah.
The Lambos are just more difficult cars to drive, and I think I like it like that because when I was karting, I was always the lightest person.
Right.
When I was karting also, I always had to mount a lot of weight on the karts. So I learned a lot about overstay and like car control from there because the karts would just never handle. Because karting is always about mostly body weight, leaning your body back and forth. And when you have weights bolted, it handles like shit, basically. Yeah. So I learned and I got accustomed to driving like that. And I won a fair bit of karting championships over the years. And I just learned like that. I learned about car control more than I think a lot of people.
Yeah.
That's why I never went with front wheel drive because I didn't want to mess that up.
Right.
And the Lambo is something that requires car control. We had like one incident or something, so where a shock snapped on the Lambo, and that was like one incident. The car was back up and running like overnight. I had all the parts for it or whatever, and I actually won that race in the day. I started 18th, I finished second in that race, and then the other race I started second and finished first. Wow. So I ended up winning that day with like missing small spots, like the race spots were missing, so I had less air runs. But I just know the car at the end of the day.
So
Ferrari,
the 296 doesn't
Ferrari
seem
is
appealing?
too expensive.
Really?
Yes.
I didn't know there was a big difference in price.
The Ferraris.
I guess because it's a Ferrari, right?
I guess Ferrari has their own following, and a lot of people, I've heard a lot of people say like they have a cult kind of following.
Yeah.
But yeah, Ferraris are very, very expensive. Like maybe 3 or 4 times the price of a normal GT3 car.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Holy shit.
I have no intentions of buying a new car. I can't afford a new car. I mean, at the end of the day, we don't have sponsors. We do this basically out of our own family work and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So unless a massive sponsor doesn't show up and say, hey, just because you're the first Caribbean driver here, you money towards a new car.
If Ferrari wants to sponsor
if Ferrari wants to do that, that's not happening. Especially how we have Lamborghini, that's not happening. Ferrari is really expensive. Lamborghini is expensive also, but Porsche and Ferrari is the most expensive. Oh, I'm telling you, Lamborghini is not as expensive as people think it is.
That's good to hear because Lamborghini is my favorite brand. So
yeah, and to be honest, like before we got into this, Lamborghini wasn't like I was a major Porsche fan. I'm a big Porsche fanboy.
Yeah.
So like I always wanted a GT2 RS, things like that. And my dad owned a couple Porsches as a kid and whatever else. But that's the whole reason I ended up with the Manthey Porsche. I said, yes, I have like one of the best GT3 cars in the world, the Manthey and whatever else. And like I'm still super happy. Like I love the idols. Well, I met my idol and we just don't mesh, I guess.
Yeah, no, I mean, you know best what car feels right for you.
So I think we'll stick with Lamborghini. AMGs are really nice, but super expensive also. So from what we've learned over the years, I think we stick with Lamborghini. We have a good relationship with them. I have like a couple people in Lamborghini that I can always text in the middle of the night and say, hey, I need some help with something or whatever.
That's really cool.
Yeah. So I rather just stick with them. For this part of the world, it's, in my opinion, the right car for me.
Right.